Money going to try to channel the spirit of the unbeatable street racing god himself to make it back into top 8. He's going up against Lima. That's an Evo champion right there.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've seen Lima in top 8, but lest you forget Smash 4, he was on top of the world, the Evo 2016?
I think it was 2018.
28. It was one of the Evos for Smash 4s that Lima won, regardless. Oh, yeah, because 2016 was pre-Bayo. So, yeah, it was Evo 2018.
It was a while ago, yeah. But nonetheless, we're fighting here at Rise and Grind. Again, Lima's home turf. You can bet that a lot of the crowd is going to be behind him. But Louis Money, man, he's got a lot of fans out there, too. So these are a couple of players that a whole lot of people want to see win. But only one of them can make it into top 8.
Maybe even looking for a little bit of revenge for his doubles partner that fell by the wayside to Lima in the previous round of bracket. But Luis got his work cut out for him as Lima's got him on the ledge, looking for that up tilt or the down tilt bear, rather, to close out the first stock. Now that is not the bread and butter that we were expecting.
No, but Lima was catching that DI. I think he recognized that Luis was trying to mash out of the combos, right? Especially the ones that are setting up for the kill confirms. And he realized, well, a lot of those aerials that he's mashing out with, particularly the Nair, those are multi-hits. My back air is going to sweet spot regardless of if I trade or not. So why don't I just go ahead and take that stock? And now he's about to lap Luis.
76 to 72, but the stocks are very different, like you said. Now that Lima's got this big of a lead, too, he can play at this range. He doesn't need to be the one to approach. He just stays at ABK range and waits for Louis to jump or waits for Louis to commit, and then he does something like that. 107%, that is up tilt bear percent, too, so keep that in mind.
It's so tough for Paolo when she's playing from behind in this matchup because when she approaches you, it's generally going to be from the air. She has a couple of burst grounded options, but just like you saw with that grab, they can leave you wide open, and Lima almost took it to the tune of an entire stock. And again, because he has the lead, he can play a bit more passively. That aggressive recovery, though, will give Luis the back air that evens up the stocks, but he has still got a ways to go to even things up.
Gets the dash attack in, though, and that is potentially a huge starter, as, yeah, he's outside of the percent range for that to connect on him. So Louis is actually, like, more healthy now than he was 20% ago, which is a weird concept, but against Bayo, stuff is weird.
Yeah, and especially if he gets a little bit more damage on Lima, right? The rage will make those combos even harder to connect. At this point, though, Lima's just going to have to look for the stray hits. 184 may seem like a lot. That's typical for Bayo, though, but catching the air dodge with the bullet arts, we're going to go to 2 stock to 1 lead for the Bayo.
Good enough for a stray hit there. The bullet arts connect. Teching out, a good chase on the dash attack by Louis Money. Oh, this is going to be so much damage.
And he is just, I mean, every time Lima touches you, he just gives you the whole enchilada, 78%, and that's typical. Luis, though, great coverage right there. Lima will air dodge to the ledge a lot after he does a lot of specials because a mechanic unique to Bayonetta is that the more specials you use, the longer your landing lag is going to be on stage. So he's either going to throw out an aerial to get that landing lag, or he'll go to the ledge so that he doesn't have to suffer it on stage, but Luis read that perfectly.
It's a good pinpoint thing in the matchup that you have to do correctly if you want to be able to beat these high top-level Bayos. Because if you let them get away with just landing for free, that's like one of her biggest weaknesses down the drain that you're not abusing. But 95% on Louis Money. This is optimal kill range for Bayo, and he knows it. He's playing so far outside of Lima's range. He's using those projectiles. He does not want to whiff and die for it.
Try as he might to hurl them at him, though none of them are finding purchase. Still has not been able to get that pesky stock neutralized. 142% on the Bayo, and yet Lima is the one who is looking like he may be the next to take a stock. That up tilt, I mean, honestly, behind the Bayonetta, not that unsafe.
Oh, whiffs, but it's not going to be that big of a punish as Lima just opts to get a little bit extra damage on the neutral B. Then they reset back to neutral. The dash-in jab is going to kill. That is not a sentence that I thought I'd be saying when I woke up this morning.
Again, I mean, Paolu's got some quick options on the ground. They're just not particularly safe. That's why we're surprised to see that run-up jab, because it is very unsafe if you whiff that. But here comes Louis Money building up some damage. Again, maybe falling out of those confirm ranges that Lima was trying to keep him in. All of a sudden, this could definitely be Mr. Clutch's game.
Hang on indeed. 72% now, Lima deep off stage, and Louis goes out for the back air. Clutch is up like you said he would. Gives a little bit of a pop-up.
Yeah, a little bit of a jump out of the seat. Luis is a guy who plays by heart, but he usually keeps it calm and collected on the outside. But when you clutch a game like that, when you're able to just switch it up and flip that light switch, right? At the very end of the game to take that 1-0 lead and not have to be at counterpick disadvantage against the Bayonetta, that is a huge win.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit earlier. Louis, known as Mr. Game 5, thanks to a couple tournament runs that he's been on, most notably, I believe it was Low Tide City 2021, where he made top 8 after like 6 Game 5 sets in a row or something along those lines. But just because he's Mr. Game 5 doesn't mean he can't come in and 3-0 somebody. It's not undoable. It's not impossible. It's not even unlikely, especially with that game number 1 lead and especially with the adaptations Louis made towards the end. He is looking so much more confident than he was at the start of this set.
And that's what Mr. Game 5 is there to speak to. It's not that he takes a long time to win sets, it's that the adaptation is so good. He can really revise his game plan around you as a player, figure out what he needs to do, and that hasn't slowed down, even on Lima's counterpick on Town and City, where Bayonetta can get some really nasty kills off the side and extensions off these platforms. It's been Luis to get off to the hot start, and a very hot start as the Wings will shoot Lima into the side blast zone quite early.
Lima looking for the off-the-top KO, this time just to get a little bit of revenge. Instead, it's going to be the Witch Time F-Smash, though. And that is going to bring us back to even 12.4% to the separator. But Louis Money expanding that just a little bit with one Nair.
And you can see, I mean, how much Luis has practiced this character, right? That he has shown that he can mix it up on that platform, on these corner pressures. He is somebody that will use every single drop that his character has in it to win a set. That, again, why he's so good at playing his Game 5 sets. We may see that if Lima can continue to put on damage like that, but he is nonetheless the one playing from behind because Luis has just been racking on real serious damage.
And the fact that Louis is willing to go to range and play with these projectiles is pretty evident of his willingness to play the long game in this matchup. He's just going, you want to dash in so bad, come on, you know, you want to dash in so bad, but Lima not really falling for it as of yet, so not getting caught by any of the explosive flames, but is going to get caught by the bait on the Witch Twist out of shield, the parry by Louis Money, and then the KO off the up air.
I'm amazed that he had the wherewithal to know exactly what needed to be done off the ABK parry because that bounces off your shield. Very different from a lot of other characters on parry, but he knew immediately, jump out of shield, get that up air out, and now you got the stock lead. Can you maintain it though? Lima has got him in prime confirmed percents, especially on Town and City. Up tilt back air should be taking the stock just about now.
Kind of looked away for half a second, and then I looked back, and Lima was at 50%. That's like the high-key scary part about Palutena in this matchup is both of these characters are really good at racking up damage at low percents. Palu is also really good at just killing no matter what. Bayo has to work just a little bit harder for those KOs once you're out of that optimal range that we've been talking about so much, and that's what Louis Money is taking huge advantage of as he takes Palutena into the corner, looks for the throw. Is that going to be it? No.
I was doubting, and that's why I said nothing. But boy, did that come close to just blast zoning Lima, and I cannot say that about a Palu forward throw that I've ever seen in my life. But Luis, well, I can say one thing. He is on fire. That is a major league dub in that game, too. Going up 2-0 against Lima. Huge.
Yeah, a 2-stock coming in there as well after he had to clutch up so hard to win game number 1. Bodes very, very well for his chances in the remainder of this bracket, but he's got to do it one more time against Lima to get that top 8, to get that step closer to the summit spot. Lima's not going to make that easy. As we head in to game 3, Louis and Lima both take a second to compose themselves.
Go ahead and take a sip and think about it, right? Luis, I mean, it's hard enough to win when you're up 2-0 against Luis, but winning when you're down 2-0 against Luis, that is a monumental task. You have to come out with 5-star gameplay for the rest of the set to take it. And, you know, these two were ready to play. I love that Luis had, like, literally 4 frames that he just cycled between. Like a really short GIF. It was just peace sign up, peace sign down.
It's like a Game & Watch type thing where he's just like flipping between the 2 still frames instead of actually being animated.
We interview Luis. It's like, hey, so how did you feel making it into top 8? He just goes,
Louis definitely looking likely to make it into top 8. Maybe wants to get that interview after all. He's just pouring on the early percent damage to Lima, but the same can be said for Lima here as he finds that first ABK into the Witch Twist for 68.
Able to find his way back to center as well, and then a little 1-2 into the right hook just like Little Mac would do it, except this time you're the Umbra Witch, and you're able to take control of the game quickly. Not only has Lima taken that first stock, but he continues to pour on that damage. Luis finding a different pace from Lima in this set.
Gets the Nair out of shield, though, and that's going to put Lima off stage. Louis Money has made so much money at the ledge, getting these ledge traps on Lima, getting these smash attacks at the ledge, getting these grabs at the ledge. But this game so far, it's been against him instead of with him as the stage spike comes through, closes out that stock.
A bit of a surprise there to just disconcert Luis off stage, and you got to keep yourself on your A game when you're playing against Lima, because he could be in your face in an instant, just like we see right now, though that time Luis is able to turn the tables on him. Luis, though, big overcommitment with that down smash, and you can see he is just trying to take the stock quickly, and you gotta imagine he's saving that mental game for game 4.
That was such a weird series of interactions where none of the hitboxes worked properly, but Louis Money ended up coming out on top at the end of the day and finds the stock with the falling Nair, throwing out a couple turbo teabags and a taunt to boot as well, just showing like, hey, you might win this game, but my mental is still very, very strong, and you're not taking this set.
That's one of the first things you got to learn as a competitor, is that when the pressure's on, got to find a way to take it easy. Lima not slowing down for a second, reading that empty jump in, giving him the big up smash, and that is one heck of a way to come right in and just torpedo a guy that went up 2-0 on you. Now you got a lot of momentum to go with. Yeah.
That might just state that like maybe PS2 sucks for the matchup, because the time the game has been closest was game 1 where Louis had to clutch, and game 2 on PS2 he just got run over. So maybe avoid that stage for the rest of this set.
I think the big deal was, I mean, obviously we saw the one missed tech off stage, and we saw a big read from Lima to get that first stock as well, because Luis didn't air dodge out of the way of the 1-2 into the forward smash. But also, Bayonetta gets quite a bit of combo extension on those PS2 platforms. Now, if she wants to extend her combos on Kalos, where Luis has taken us for game 4, she's going to have to really commit to go out there, because now you are at the ledge against Palu just for trying to get your combo started.
Well, parries that out of shield, though, and immediately gets the Nair.
See, though, Louis Money using that Nair again so effectively, catching Lima out of position where he can't throw out those very difficult to contest hitboxes, right? It's basically Nair or nothing, and you can challenge that as Palu with the Nair of your own. Here comes the big damage from Lima, though, man. He has not had any amount of scarcity of damage to put on. It's just been a matter of if he can close out those stocks.
Lands with Nair, gets another Nair as well. These Nairs, it seems a little bit redundant to say when talking about Palutena, but these Nairs have been very, very good at just making sure that Lima has to be way more careful than he has been in terms of approaching Louis' shield, because if Louis finds the opportunity to, he's just immediately going to throw that Nair out. The rapid jab actually doesn't finish connecting, and I think that might have been the stock if it had finished.
It certainly would have been. Lima finding a custom way to try to end that stock, but with Kalos' cavernous blast zones, he's not going to be able to take that lead just yet. A couple of unfortunate non-finishers for him leave Luis with a bit of an advantage yet.
Looking for something on the ledge here. Only 1% between them, and Lima takes the lead. He's getting the fares, and off he goes, but Louis still alive. Neither of these guys are going to die.
I knew that Lima didn't have a finisher there, and I suppose that Luis knew that as well, right, to just DI for it, and the Bonsai Nair does end up rocketing him into the bottom blast zone. So even as that first stock started and continued, it went all the way to the end. We are even stocks at even percentages to start off number 2.
Tries to land with the Nair and does so successfully. Has to get off the platform first and is able to do it thanks to Lima overextending with the ABK, but now he's just got to eat those bullet arts for a little bit and got to get that healthy breakfast in.
Lead for breakfast, man. You never want to see it, and Luis has taken a lot of damage because of it. Lima picking his spots carefully to make it in, but he's found quite a bit of a rhythm from Luis in that neutral game, right, where he's trying to just set up his wall, short hop threaten the Bayonetta trying to come in with those big aerials. Well, now Lima has found out the rhythm and found great ways to get in just like that.
And that's something that Lima excels at so much, is eventually over time adapting to the tempo of an opponent. That's why he's so scary in best of 5 formats, because you give him this much time to figure out, okay, you like to approach this way, you like to push your nairs here so you can auto-cancel them there, et cetera, and it all just chalks up to someone who gets a hard read on you and then starts going to town.
Well, we are out of kill percents, or rather confirmed percents for Lima. He has got to find a stray aerial, a jab, a forward throw, something near the corner to take the stock from Luis, and you can see that's why NorCal's Finest is looking for a way to stay in center stage.
Ooh.
And down tilt, I'm not even sure that's what he meant to do, but it worked out perfectly. It results in the stock. Louis Money 1 stock away.
It was for sure supposed to be a down tilt, but I think it was supposed to face
the
towards
other
the
way,
left
yeah.
blast zone, because I think it would have killed if it had connected. But like you said, it ends up working out great. Lima, 212%.
And honestly, I hate to be Tom Jones here, but really it's not unusual. He does finish it out with that dash attack, though, and we'll have to see him take the stock a little bit quicker if he wants to stay alive here. Louis Money only needs to take this last one from Lima, and he has his ticket in hand to go into top 8. Lima's got a bit of work ahead of him to make that happen for himself.
Louis Money just playing the distance game, making use of Palutena's auto reticle and explosive flames in turn, and then punishing Lima when he comes in and whiffs, but the dash attack doesn't connect, and this is going to be Lima's option. If Lima can get a lot more percent before Louis gets his feet back under him in neutral, it would have been critical, and he's still going up to the skies into the back air, 87.
Oh, but that invincible back air giving Luis the escape that he needed from that incredible advantage state that Bayonetta can carry for such a long time. Lima forfeiting it some of it to try to go for a back air read, and now he's back in his face, damage climbing.
But he's almost out of that range that we've been talking about, that easy confirm range that Bayonetta has to deal with so frequently. And once Louis leaves it, this game gets a lot harder for Lima to take. 126 to 89, both of these characters in prime position to close it all out here. And Lima does so not with a back air. It's not over.
It was a sour spot. That is a weak move, especially on Kalos, where those blast zones have a lot of distance. It's not enough to do it. That may be all Luis needs to give himself the opening, but that's the sweet spot. Back air. It's a Louis Money set, so what would it be if we didn't go to Game 5?
And what an attempt from Louis Money, too. We saw it, I believe, in Game 2, where he went for the run-up rapid jab to close a stock. He tried for it again, this time in the corner, but Lima was wised up for it, just jumped over top of it and connected with the bear to close it all out in style. And like you said, brings Mr. Game 5 to what else but a Game 5.
This time, though, it is Lima trying to push that reverse 3-0 to make it happen. You remember, Luis just got off to such a hot start, but Lima right now, his controller is decked in gold. It will be the Bayonetta and the Palu the whole way through, and we are going back to Kalos, where we saw it go down to the last hit. We may just see it happen again. Only one of these two can make it into top 8, and there's only one game left to decide it.
Looks for landing Nair there, but neither one of them is able to connect. Louis finds the first damage of the game, but Lima quickly fires back. I was a little bit worried seeing Lima off stage there with nobody around him, because I was like, don't do it. Not here. Not now.
You would almost assume, right? And honestly, he hasn't SD in this set yet, so...
That's true. It's either on its way or it'll complete the miracle run.
And honestly, he has got to be on top of things, right? He has got to be prospering in every single way, and that includes not giving Luis a free stock, because as Palu, you have to earn your stocks. You have to be finding a way to outplay your opponent to finish things off. Lima right now able to pick him up with a second Witch Twist despite amazing DI from Louis Money. He's back on stage and fighting for center.
Yeah, it was the weird hits on both Witch Twists, but Lima's still such a master of this character that he knows what to do even in those situations where the moves don't function properly. Looking for something out of shield here, just trying to land. That's going to be up tilt bear, but the sour spot once more. And we saw last game what the sour spot doesn't do more than it does.
What it does do is what it doesn't do, and that is
does not
take
kill.
the stock. Yeah, it does not ever do that unless you're at a heinous percent. Jabs will be enough to take the stock, though. Texas crowd starting to get a little antsy. They want to see one of their best make it into top 8, keeping their representation alive.
I believe the last remaining Texas player after Atomic went out Game 5 against Onin.
And that's a crazy thing to say. We can get into that later, but right now we're looking at what could be one of the sets of the tournament with Lima trying to claw his way back on stage. Luis not able to get a stock, but does maintain his advantage with that nair.
Tries so hard for the up air, the falling up air to close out Lima's stock, but Bayo has so many movement options there in the air that it's not even going to be a challenge for him to go around it just using the ABK. These explosive flames, none of them finding purchase, and Lima still holding on to the stock, still getting some extra credit.
These two pick this spot so well. That time, Luis has really conditioned Lima to never ABK off of ledge, right? He's thrown out those back airs. He turns his back to the ledge when Lima is there to make him fear and respect that. So if he does do an ABK off ledge, it's going to be that dive kick. It's exactly what he got the punish on there. Stocks go back even to 2-2. I mean, nobody has ever been able to pull away from each other in this set.
No, they've been neck and neck the whole time, save for that game 2 where Louis Money pulled out the 2 stock, excuse me. But other than that, it has been down to the wire every single time. Lima looking to make it his, but Louis Money takes the damage lead away until that witch twist connects, and he goes up, up, and away.
Yeah, plenty of damage taken on Kalos. You'll almost never see Lima take your stock off the top with one of those combos unless he literally begins it on one of those side platforms. At the moment, though, Luis sitting at 123 has to fear up tilt back air. He's almost never given Lima an opportunity to set up for those confirms, and if he has, we haven't seen them connect for the kill. But Louis Money, he's smelling blood right now. He is keeping the Bayo at the ledge, and he does not relent.
On the ledge, though, he finds a way off with the jump fair, carrying all the way over there. But Louis Money, he's able to escape defensively. Lima forced into a weird scramble situation, and then he air dodges on into the explosive flame. And you see in the player cam, Louis slapping his knee a little bit, just trying to keep himself in the game, trying to keep his head in the right spot, as he is only 1 stock away from top 8 at Rise and Grind.
Both of these players want that so badly, right? It's the place that everybody's been shooting for this weekend, not just the throne, but for a big performance. And right now, Louis Money has all the momentum. He has got the fixins going for him, but Lima will push this to last stock. The next one to take it will move on. One of their runs will end here in this game.
The nair out of shield doesn't connect, so Lima is able to get his feet back underneath him almost immediately, but the back air beats out the ABK and forces Lima into the corner against Louis Money. That could be a death sentence. He's been so good here so far throughout the set, and he punishes the ABK in with just a raw up smash off the dash back. Mr. Game 5 does it again and makes his way into top 8.